Hey, what's up, my brothers? This is Justin with Masonic Improvement. Wearing my coat today. It is freezing in my classroom, and I don't know what's going on. I got my AC cranked up to 80, or my heater cranked up to 80, and it is still probably like 60 degrees in here, which I guess isn't cold for a lot of you, but down here in Texas, it's pretty chilly. I'm going to talk about the progressive line today and some of my thoughts on that. So the progressive line, for those of you that most of you should know, but for those of you that don't, for whatever reason, you have the different offices in lodge. You start usually. I'm trying to think where you usually start. You usually start with one of the deacon positions, usually the junior deacon, and you work your way up. And the idea is that over the years you'll learn the parts better. You'll be more familiar with the workings of the lodge, and then by the time you're ready to go into the east, you'll have sat everywhere. You should know what everybody does at every position. You should know their responsibilities. You should know all the work, so you'll be very informed. So there's definitely some good potential to this. It definitely, if it worked that way, idealistically, then yes, that'd be terrific. You'd have someone that went through all the chairs. They're very knowledgeable of how everything should work, but that's not usually the case, especially in smaller lodges like the rural ones that we have out in the country. Usually they'll start you. Often you might start with a. Did I say deacon? I should have said they start you with junior steward and you work your way up from there. But they'll usually hear we don't usually have stewards because they never attend. So we'll usually start with like a junior deacon or something like that. That's usually where we start. But officially, I guess the lowest office on the totem pole it would be the junior steward, and you'll go up from there. But it's a good concept. But the problem is that we don't usually stick by the concept. It's really hard, like I said, out here in the country. You don't usually have many active members, so it's really hard to get people to actually go through all those chairs. So usually they'll start you off with like a junior deacon, and you'll work the senior deacon, and then you'll go through the wardens, and you'll be in the east. So you have that concept. That's still really good. Even if you just start in a deacon chair, and if you work, go through the chairs like I just said, you should still be pretty knowledgeable by the time you get to the east. But the problem is we treat it more like an assembly line than an actual learning experience. And so what will happen is the worship master, after the year's over, he'll step down. He'll usually go to like the Tyler or something. And then the next person, the senior warden, will sit in the east, and everybody moves up a chair, regardless of how much you know. And unfortunately, also regardless of how active you tend to be. And this is the major fault with the progressive line, is that we push people through regardless of not if they're ready. So what you'll often end up with is leadership in a lodge that's in charge of the well-being of the lodge for a year or multiple years, regardless if they're actually knowledgeable at all or if they have any leadership skill at all. In many cases, we put them there just because it's their turn. But as I mentioned before in my blog, I've witnessed lodges before where you had one or two good worship masters that worked really hard. They both pushed their agendas, and it made the lodge really healthy. And then their turn was over, and the next guy stepped in, and he had no idea what he was doing. And before you know it, the lodge membership dwindled back down to almost where it's non-existent. It only takes 1 year of bad leadership to ruin all the effort of previous years. And so that's the real problem we find. So here's my suggestion, and for those of you that care. If you have a good worship master and he's doing a really good job, don't kick him out after a year. Keep him as long as he's willing to do it. If he wants to do it 2 years, if he's willing to do it for 2 years or 3 years, as long as he's doing a great job, don't be ashamed to nominate him, and don't be embarrassed to vote for him. Keep him in there. And the same thing with all the other positions. You're a Freemason all your life, and you'll be a past master all your life. There's no rush to get positions, and really you shouldn't rush it anyway, because it's usually to the detriment of the lodge. Let a guy be a senior warden for a few years. Let him be a junior warden for a few years. It won't hurt to sit there for a few extra years. So don't rush those people. Let them sit in there. Let them sit in the position. And I know a lot of people feel like there's some kind of rush to be past master or something like that. There's really not. I feel the same as I did before I went through. And I've done it twice, and I changed that. I feel more tired than I did before I started, but there's really no benefit to that. So if you find a guy that's willing to do it for multiple years, let them do it. And the people, I mean, it should be nothing but positive, because it gives everybody more time to learn. It gives everybody more time to learn the work. It lets them learn more about leadership, and it should benefit the lodge in a positive manner. So that's my overall advice. Slow down your line. No point treating it like a assembly line. There is a benefit to working people through the offices. I won't deny that. There's definitely a disadvantage to pushing them through just because it's their turn. I've seen worshipful masters that were doing great, and they still had plenty of enthusiasm. They were still happy to serve, but the year was up, and before you know it, they're Tyler, you know? And it's a shame that you would push good leadership like that out of the office. If you did that with like a corporation or a company, if you pushed a president out, he was doing a good job, but his year was up, then that'd be terrible. Stocks would plummet. But we do that every year with our lodges and with our Grand Lodges too. This applies to Grand Lodge too. If you have a really good Grand Master, there's really no benefit to pushing them through. I know that the Grand Lodge officers have put a lot of time into getting their positions, but for the detriment of your jurisdiction, but for the benefit of your jurisdiction, if you have a good Grand Master, keep them there. I know it's really unfeasible, because Grand Lodge is kind of like this huge autonomous machine that you really, at the end of the day, have very little say over as far as things like that go. But ideally, that would be what you should do. One more thing. Be sure you subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. Check out my blog. And also, I posted a blog about this a long time ago. It's probably about 2 years ago, about this same topic. I'm not really covering anything I haven't spoken about before. I'm just giving you a video instead of something to read. But I'll go ahead and post that also in case you're interested, because I really just kind of skimmed over things. So once again, check out the blog, subscribe please, give me a like if you would, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.